ज्ञानलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमः ओं विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरुन् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णा चैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेशा गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते। तप्त कांचना गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वंचाकल्पतरुभ्यस्य कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। So since today is Gaur Purnima, I'm going to chant few prayers for Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu before we get started. ध्येयं सदा परिभाव अभिष्टदोहं तीर्थास्पदं शिवविरञ्चि नुतं शरण्यं भृत्यार्तिहं प्रणतपाल भवादिपोतं वन्दे महापुरुषते चरणारविन्दम्. So this verse actually comes in Srimad Bhagavatam, 11th canto, 5th chapter, which actually describes, this is also one of the verses, Vande Mahapurushate Charnaravindam. So this verse actually has been explained as referring to Lord Ramchandra, referring to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Lord Krishna himself. Takta sujupsa surepsita raja lakshmi dharmischa aravachata yadagaranyam maya mrigam dai ipsitam yanvad dipsitam anvadavad vande mahapurushate charanaravindam. So very nice verses. So this is 11, 5, 33, 34. Right? Okay. पंचतत्वाकं कृष्णं भक्तरूपस्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्तशक्तिकम् आनन्दलीलामया विग्रहाय हे माधवी झवि सुन्दराय तस्मै महाप्रेम रसाप्रदाय चैतन्य चंद्राय नमो नमस्ते चैतन्य चंद्राय नमो नमस्ते चैतन्य चंद्राय नमो नमस्ते। नमो महावदन्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नाम्ने गौरत्युषे नमः। चैतन्य कृष्ण चैतन्य गौरांग द्विजनायक यतीनां दंडिनां चैव न्यासिनां च शिरोमणि रक्तांबरधर श्रीमान् नवद्वीप सुधाकर प्रेम भक्ति प्रदश्चैव श्री सच्चिनंदनस्तथा. So these are actually 12 names of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. You can memorize these 12 names of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Like how Nityananda Prabhu also has these 12 special names, so Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has these 12 names. Okay. Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ki jai. Vande Shri Krishna Chaitanya Nityananda Sahodita Gaudadaya Pushpamanto Chitra Sandho Tamonando. And if you see Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami, the entire Chaitanya Charitamrita, he gives one verse as the Paribhasa Sutra, right? So in Bhagavatam, which is the Paribhasa Sutra, first canto, third chapter, text 28. Ete Chamsha Kalapamsha Krishnas tu Bhagavan Swayam. That is the Paribhasa Sutra. So for Chaitanya Charitamrita, what is the Paribhasa Sutra? this verse. So, Adi Lila, first chapter, text number 4. Right? Anarpita charim chirat karuna avatina kalo samayirpitam unnato jalo rasam sabhakti shriyam haripurata sundari kadamba sandipito sada hriday kandare spurato va sachi nandanaha. And Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami in this verse is praying that may that Supreme Personality of God, the Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, be eternally residing in the hearts of all the readers. So in that way we can pray that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu actually always resides in the core of our heart. Okay, so we'll continue. We'll offer our prayers that we do for Bhagavatam. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayana Namaskrityam Naranchaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jaya Mudire Srimatam Sukatha Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtanam हृदयन्तस्तु अभद्राणि विदुनोति सुहृत्सतां नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी. Mm. Okay, and then we'll recite our verses that Sanatana Goswami has composed. सर्वशास्त्रादि पीयूष सर्व वैदिक सत्फल सर्व सिद्धांत रत्नाद्य सर्व लौकिक प्रद सर्व भागवत प्राण श्रीमद् भागवतो प्रभु कलिदंतोतिदादित्य श्री कृष्ण परिवर्तिता परमानंद पाठाय प्रेम वर्ष अक्षराय ते सर्वद सर्व सेवाय श्री कृष्णाय नमोस्तुते मद एक बंधु मद संगीन मद गुरुन मन महादन मन निष्ठारक मन भाग्य मद आनंद नमोस्तुते असाधु साधु तादाइन अतिनीचोत ताकरा हाना मुंचा कदाचिन्मा प्रेमना रित कंथयो स्पृह ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय. Okay, so thank you so much for joining on this most auspicious day of Gaur Purnima. It's a very, very special day. So we are in the ninth chapter of the third canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. We are reading Brahma's prayers for creative energy. Okay? And we discussed last time how these prayers are divided into different sections. So we read the first section of these prayers. And if you see this entire chapter, the first half of the chapter is Brahmaji's prayers. And the second half is how Krishna actually responds to these prayers. And since Brahmaji is our Sampradaya Acharya, he is the one who is the head of our entire Acharya, these prayers are very, very important, right? And we'll see how nicely Brahma is praying and how Krishna is actually wonderfully responding to the prayers of Brahmaji. Okay. So what was the first 5 prayers? Anyone remembers? What did Brahmaji pray in the first 5 verses? Okay, so let's quickly go through. The first 5 verses, Brahmaji has offered, he is actually praying to the supreme form of the Lord. Right? So if you see the first verse, we'll just quickly go through first 5 verses, where Brahmaji actually says that today, after many years of penance, you have actually given me darshan. And he makes a point that how unfortunate living entities, they are unable to know you. And you are the only knowable object. That is, yeah, if there's anything that's supposedly superior to you, that is only your Maya Shakti. There is nothing superior to you. This form is the highest realization that anyone can have. Right? And you're the supreme knowable object. Then verse number 2, we actually read how your original form, it is avabodha rasodayena. That means what? It is actually manifested from an internal potency, and this itself is a proof that the form of the Lord, because it's manifested from the internal potency of the Lord, it has nothing to do with the contamination of this material world. And hence, what is the word? It says Shashvat Nivritta Tamasaha. Right? Shashvat Nivritta Tamasaha. That means it is always free from material contamination. And then this form is actually manifested by manifested to show mercy to the devotees of the Lord, right? And we discussed this point that how Narsimhadev appeared in front of Prahlad Maharaj, but that does not mean that Narsimhadev was not there before. The form is actually eternally present, but he actually appears in front because of his mercy to his devotees. Right? And he is the root of hundreds of incarnations. He is praying to Garbhodakshay Vishnu, and from Garbhodakshay Vishnu comes Shirodakshay Vishnu, and it is from Shirodakshay Vishnu all the incarnations are manifested. And it is from this navel of Garbhodakshay Vishnu I am actually born. Now, text number 3, he actually further prays to the form that I do not see a form superior to your present form of eternal bliss and knowledge. So he compares the form of the Lord to the impersonal Brahmajyoti, right? And he actually says, yes, the impersonal Brahmajyoti is there, but that is just your manifestation. I want to offer obeisances to your form, because out of mercy, you're giving me darshan of your form, not the impersonal Brahmajyoti, right? Right. And then he makes a point that I surrender to your form. Why? Because I actually, as a creator, I may become proud of my body, my senses, but you are actually the original creator, yet you are actually untouched by any contamination of this material energy. Right. And then text number 4. Yeah, this form is actually auspicious for all the universes, all the 3 planetary systems. This form is actually most auspicious form, right? And you have manifested this eternal personal form upon whom your devotees meditate, right? Those who are destined to be dispatched to the path of hell neglect your personal form because of speculating on material topics. So this actually includes the non-devotees who do not hear Krishna Katha, and also the impersonalists, right? Because they are against the topics about the personal form and the glories of the Lord. So this verse is a very strong verse by saying even the impersonalists, they have purchased their ticket. Ticket where? Ticket to the hellish condition. And one may say like, why would they go to Patal Lok? No, we discussed this point that they go to Brahmajyoti, but that Brahmajyoti is actually hellish for the devotees. Why? Because there is no opportunity to serve. So even that Brahmajyoti, so anything except the entrance into the spirit Vaikuntha planets or Goloka Vrindavan, where one can actually render direct service to the Lord, anything other than that is just a hellish condition for a devotee. Wherever there's opportunity to serve the Lord, that is the best situation for a devotee. Right? Okay, that's text 4, and then text 5, a very beautiful verse, that persons who smell the aroma of your lotus feet, right? How are you smelling? Not with your nose. You smell with your ears. And how do you smell? By hearing Harikatha. When we hear Harikatha, then we are actually smelling the aroma of the dust of the lotus feet of the Lord, right? And yes, and for them, the Lord is never separated from the lotus of their hearts. Right? The Lord is always situated in their hearts. And yes. Okay. So those are the first 5 verses, and we'll continue text number 6. Any comments or realizations up to this point? Or questions? Everyone can hear me okay, right? Yeah, clear?
Yes, bro.
Any comments, any realizations up to this point?
I liked how in the Siboney it says that with regard to number 5,
Yeah.
it says that you are never separated from the devotees' hearts who smell through their ear holes the aroma of your lotus feet carried by the air of Vedic sound, and accept those feet as the greatest treasure through bhakti. So smelling through your ear holes.
Yeah, you smell through our ears. So nice. So wonderful. Thank you, Mother. Okay. Okay, we are ready to continue? Yes, everyone? Okay. So do we have a list? Okay. Radna Radhika, you want to start? Text number 6. So the second section from text number 6 all the way to text number 10, Brahmaji is going to lament for the situation of all the conditioned souls in this material world. So we'll see how he laments. Okay, text 6.
Tavadbhayam dravinadeha surinnimitam shoka spriha paribhavo vipulascha lobha tavan mametya sad avagraha artimulam yavan natengrim abhayam pravrinita lokaha. So I don't have a list yet. If anybody wants to start.
Hare Krishna. O my Lord, the people of the world are embarrassed by all material anxieties. They are always afraid. They always try to protect wealth, body, and friends. They are filled with lamentation and unlawful desires and paraphernalia, and they avariciously base their undertaking on the perishable conceptions of my and mine. As long as they do not take shelter of your safe lotus feet, they are full of such anxieties.
So having in text 5, glorify the lotus feet of the Lord. How do they smell the inner path of the lotus feet of the Lord? By actually hearing Harikatha, right? And then in this verse, he's saying, I'm feeling so like, all these like text 6 to text 10, he's actually expressing his compassion, his pity for all those people who are not taking shelter of the word of the lotus feet. And this verse has Tavat, and Yavat. Right? So if you see Tavat and Yavat, Tavat means as long as, right? Or until, and then Yavat means as long as. So it is like, as long as they do not do this, till that time so and so will happen, right? So Yavat means as long as, and Tavat means till so and so. Okay, so what are the 2 points, Yavat and Tavat? So we'll start with Tavat. So the verse starts with Tavat, right? Tavat says, until then, and then what she says, Bhayam, right? So there is Bhayam in the first line, and then Abhayam in the last line, right? So fear and fearlessness, right? So they will have fear. Why fear in this material world? Nimittam, for the matter of, first he says Dravina, wealth, Deha, body, Surit, relatives, right? So everyone in this material world, they are fearful of wealth, right? Now market will crash, all my wealth will go away, lose my job, wealth will go away, so much anxiety, right? Then Deha, right? Body, so much anxieties, this disease, that disease, COVID, all those things. Relatives, like we're most scared about our relatives. What will happen if my relative, unfortunately has an accident, or so much fear, right? So much fear. So, and then because of this fear, what happens? Shokaha, there's lamentation. Spriha, unlawful desires. And then Vipluha lobha, great, very great greed. And why these 3 things? Lamentation we can understand, shoka, right? Because how much ever you've tried to protect our wealth, we'll never be satisfied with that. Hence, there's always lamentation in this material world. Unlawful desires, right? Unlawful desires. Why they say unlawful desires? Because each one of us, we have been assigned certain aspect of wealth, certain relationship, all that based on our karma. But we want to desire something which is beyond our karma. So it is unlawful desires. We hold on to unlawful desire. And then paribhava. We are actually aspiring for something which we don't have, we don't have the karma to get. And what will happen if we are aspiring like that? Paribhava. Paribhava means we'll be defeated. Right? And because of the defeat, then vipluhu lobha. Then our greed keeps increasing. We try for something, we get defeated, then we say, no, I want to try for something bigger, because there's no satisfaction. So that is the situation of all of us. And this will continue until, so that is first tavat. And second, this will continue until mama iti. Right? So there's the other famous verse where I said, aham mameti. Until we hold on to the concept of I and mine. I referring to this material body, and mine referring to everything associated with this material world, our house, our property, our wealth, and so on, right? As long as we do that, then there will be all these conditions of shoka, spriha, vipluha, lobha, right? Then he says, right, and because of this, what they say, lokaha, all the people are arti moolam, full of anxieties, right? Right? When we go on book distribution, we ask, have you heard of stress? And who has not heard of stress? Right? Everyone has experienced stress because of these anxieties of this material nature. Right? And then he says yavat. And you will actually, everyone, all the people will have all these things. And as long as they do not pravritta means take, pravraniti. Pravranita. Yeah, Pravanita means take shelter of Angrim. Angrim means lotus feet. And how are the lotus feet described? Abhayam. Right? What is Prabhupada's name? Abhaya Charanaravinda. Right? Fearless, having taken shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord. That is Abhaya Charanaravinda. Right? So here, Abhayam, Angrim, safe lotus feet. And unless people take shelter of the safe lotus feet of the Lord, they will have all these anxieties. Okay, there's no other solution. That's why when you go for book distribution, we ask, have you heard of stress? And then what's the first thing? Take this book. It will help you reduce your stress and anxiety. Because no other solution will help reduce your stress and anxiety. Only this spiritual wisdom. Because this spiritual wisdom is what? What is the previous verse saying? When they are actually reading this Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita, they are reading, just by hearing this vibration, they are connecting with the lotus feet of the Lord. And that will give abhaya, that will give fearlessness. So that's this verse, very beautiful verse, right? But it's actually showing the condition of all the living entities in this material world. Prabhupada talks about how in this material world, everyone wants to maintain a status quo. Like my status, I should have a nice car, nice house. Otherwise, what will my other people working will say about me, right? I have to maintain my status. And for maintaining the status, that fame, that reputation, then you have to work so hard, and all these anxieties you have to take up, right? Therefore, there's always fear and lamentation. And the purpose says, when people are so much filled with fear and anxieties, how can such a person always think of the name and form of the Lord? How can he think? If you're filled with so much anxieties, is there a chance that that person can leave all these anxieties and think about the Lord? Because what is the final instruction of Bhagavad Gita? Man mana bhava mad bhakto mad yaji mam namaskuru. Think about me, become my devotee. But they're filled with so much anxiety. Is there any hope? And this verse gives the answer. So Prabhupada says, first thing is a devotee should actually understand that I am not the proprietor of anything. Bhoktaram yagya tapasam sarvaloka maheshwaram. Krishna is the proprietor of everything. And as soon as someone accepts this, what does Prabhupada call this verse? The peace formula. Why? Because we are thinking that, oh, this is my home, my property. And because as soon as we say aham mamiti, then immediately anxiety. What if my AC unit breaks? Then $10,000, one shot. Oh, so much anxiety. Right? All that. But as soon as I say, I am not the boss. Krishna is the boss. I am just an instrument, servant. So if something breaks, Krishna will provide. He'll take care. He's the boss, right? The boss always takes care of his employee. So he's the boss. He'll take care. It is his property. Like how you give the example of, and Guru Maharaj used to always give the example of a chauffeur, right? A driver. If someone has a driver, like someone has a driver, he's like a paid driver, and he's driving the car of the owner, right? His job is just to drive the car. If the car breaks down, who is responsible to fix it? The owner will say, okay, this problem, take it to the mechanic, here is the bill, money, go pay, get it done. Right? So we are just like drivers of Krishna. Krishna is the owner, right? So so that's the first point. Second point, he says we should actually surrender everything. Our work, everything that we think is ours, we surrender to the Lord. And even the activities we do, we try to surrender to the Lord. Hence, only by this surrender, there'll be no fear of maintaining and protecting. Krishna, this is all yours. I am here just as an instrument to serve you. That's the second thing. And third thing, he says, right, third thing is there will no longer be third thing he actually makes the point is to actually give up the attraction for wealth for sense gratification. We all actually hold on. We say that unless I get this, and this, I will not be happy, right? To give up that mood of finding that sense gratification in any of these material objects. So if right. So as long as there is this mood of attraction for wealth, right? Immediately there is right. As long as there's a mood of attraction for wealth, there'll be anxieties. Okay, like how 16th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, what does it say? Ishwaroham aham bhogi, right? That's a condition of the jivas. What is that? I am the Lord, I am the controller. In my bank, I have so much money right now, and tomorrow I want to double it, right? So as long as we have that mood of accumulating to actually increase sense gratification, then we will always have those anxieties. But the way we can actually turn that, Prabhupada says, is remove the poisonous teeth of accumulation of wealth. Like just like a serpent, if the poisonous teeth are taken away, then it is not harmful. So similarly, we have that poisonous mood of accumulating more and more and more. So when that mood is taken out, then no problem, right? But the point here Prabhupada actually explains is that someone may get all these things, like how Prabhupada, there's a famous that pastime we say, right? There was a photo Prabhupada saw, right, where a yogi, it was on a magazine cover. A yogi there's a pile of money and the yogi is looking like this. I don't want to see money. It's all Maya. Prabhupada, what did he say? Take a photo of me where I'm doing like this. I need more and more money, right? But why? What is the mood? To use it for the service of the Lord. So accumulation for sense gratification is the cause of all the anxiety. But when things are coming for service of Krishna, then there is no anxiety. So for Krishna's service, when things are coming, you get, some money comes, everything, then we are happy. Okay, more money is coming, I'll give more donation to the temple. I will serve the Lord more. Krishna is giving me all this so that I can increase my service to him. That is the mood. Then there is no anxiety, right? But as long as there is a mood of accumulation for sense gratification, full of anxiety. Okay. So these 3 points Prabhupada says how we can actually overcome all the anxieties, and we can actually come to a point of always thinking of Krishna. First is proprietorship, second is the mood of surrender, and third is to give up that mood of accumulating material things. Okay. Okay, so yavat, tavat, tavat, right? As long as and until, right? So as long as we do not take shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord, till the time all these anxieties are there, till the time we will hold on to the concept of aham mameti. Okay, text number 7.
Daivena te hatadhiyo bhavata prasangat sarva shubho pashamanad vimukendriyaye kurvanti kama sukalesha lavaya dina lobha vibhuta manaso kushavan shashvat.
O my Lord, persons who are bereft of the all auspicious performance of chanting and hearing about your transcendental activities are certainly unfortunate and are also bereft of good sense. They engage in inauspicious activities, enjoying sense gratification for a very little while. Hare Krishna.
So why? So if the solution is, then why? Have you heard of stress before? And the solution is what? Take this wisdom, Bhagavad Gita. And here is the question is, why does not everyone take to devotional service if this is the solution to all your anxieties? Why? And that is the point Brahma is making here. He says, because Daivena, he says Daivena, by the fate of misfortune. or Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur actually says, the reason people do not take to devotional is because the ill effect of all the offenses that people have committed to you. People are committing offenses to Krishna lifetime after lifetime. And because of that offenses, they are unable to take to devotional service of the Lord. Right? And then he elaborates on this. What does this mean? First, Hatha Diya. Hatha Diya is because of these offenses, because of this misfortune, they become bereft of memory. The solution is right there, right? You have a disease, a stomach pain or something, and the medicine is right in front of you. But you're like, oh, I don't want to take it. I don't want to take it. Right? Why? Because you are bereft of the intelligence. You are bereft of your memory. Then second, Bhavata Prasangat. Right? This is a main point here. Vimukha. Vimukha means, Mukha means to face. Vimukha means turn away. So these persons have Vimukha, that turned away from Bhavata Prasanga, from auspicious topics about you. They have turned away from Harikatha. Right? You go give Bhagavad Gita, they say, no, I know, I have. Right? Don't disturb me. My match is going on. They are against hearing Harikatha, and hence they don't get, they don't take to devotional service. And the third point, he says, Sarva Ashubha, and then they are engaged in Akushalani. Akushalani. Right? Kushal, we say Kushal, right? Kushal means what? Very auspicious. Akushal. Akushal means inauspicious. And they are engaged in Sarva Ashubha Akushalani. They are engaged in all sorts of inauspicious activities. For what? Kama, Shubha, Lesha, Lavaya. What does that mean? Just for a brief moment of sense gratification, they are actually engaged in inauspicious activities. The three reasons he gives, right? Why doesn't everyone take to devotional service? One, because of, okay, the main theme is offenses against you, right? And offenses to Krishna, and that is elaborated. First, Hatha Diya, bereft of memory intelligence. Second, Vimukha Bhavata Prasangat. They have turned away from the topics of Krishna. And third, they are engaged in inauspicious activities for Sukha, happiness. But how is this happiness? Lesha, only tiny bit of happiness. They have engaged in so many inauspicious activities, right? And then Lobha Abhibhuta Manasa. So he said that because of that desire to enjoy the tiny bit of happiness, their mind is always overwhelmed with so much greed, Lobha, greed, right? Okay. So, anyone, can you quote any verses where it actually in Bhagavatam we have read, which actually says that how hearing Krishna Katha, because this main point in this verse is Bhavata Prasangat Vimukha. Because they have turned away from Krishna Katha, hence they are going to have anxiety. Where is the verses which actually says turning to Krishna or hearing Krishna Katha is the solution to take away all the anxieties? Anyone?
Krishna Prabhuji.
Okay, Shrunvatam Sukatha Krishna, Punya Shavana Kirtanam, Hridantu Abhadrani. Okay, that's a good one. By hearing Krishna Katha, all the abhadras, all the anxiety, stress in our heart will go away. Okay, that's one. What is Narad Muni's conclusion after his entire pastime with Vyasadeva in the first canto?
Like you should get on a boat, the boat of hearing and chanting about Krishna, right? So better forget the Sanskrit.
Okay, so that verse is Etadi Atura Chittana Matra Sparsha Sayamuhu Bhava Sindhu Plavodishta Hare Chana. So that's exactly the verse you're quoting. So it says Bhava Sindhu Plavodishta, right? This material world is filled with anxieties. And you should actually, sorry. So Etadi Atura Chittanam, that it is my, he says it is personally experienced by me that those who are full of cares and anxieties due to desiring contact of the senses with their objects, for them, the most suitable boat, Bhava Sindhu, is what? Hare Charnaryo, Hari Charya Nu Varnana, constant chanting of the name of the Lord, constant hearing Harikatha. That is one. Then second, from Vyasdev, his realization is what? Yasyam vai shruyamananam Krishne paramapurushe bhakti utpadate pumsam shoka moha bhaya paha. Shoka, moha, bhaya. And all those three things we read, Brahmaji is saying, everyone is subjected to shoka, moha, bhaya. That can be gone just by shruyamananam, hearing from Krishna. Right? Then what was...
Shrimanti Gayanti Grananti Abhikshasa.
Okay, that's Queen Kunti's prayers also. Shrinvanti, Gayanti, Grihanti, Abhikshana. And then Sukadeva Goswami, second canto, first chapter. What does he say? That people are engaged in just hearing all sorts of nonsense. Right? But what should one do? Tasmat Sarvatma Narajan Hari Sarvata Sarvada Shrotavya Kirtitavyasa Dheya Pujasya Nityada. Therefore, everyone should always hear, chant, remember Krishna. That is the solution. And again, he says, Tasman, Tasman Bharata Sarvatma, Bhagwan Ishvaro Hari, Shrotavya Kirti Tavyasya, Smartavya Cha Ichata Abhayam. Right? So many verses, again and again we are reading. So we should know all these verses. So I have said, I'll give you the references so you can write down, and you can always keep these verses. That sometime when you're talking about glories of Bhagavatam, you should know these verses one by one. And you say, Narad Muni said this, and then Sukadev Goswami is saying this, Vyasadeva is saying this, Queen Kunti is saying this. Right? So first one I quoted is from Narad Muni, that is 1.634. Right? 1.6.34. Then second I quoted from Vyasadeva, that is 1.7.7. Right? The third one I quoted is from Sukadeva Goswami. As soon as Parikshit Maharaj asked the question, the verse he quotes is 2.1.5. Right? Tasmad Bharata Sarvatma. And then 2.2.36. Right? Tasmad Sarvatmana Rajan Hari Sarvata Sarvada. And then yes. And then Queen Kunti, what is that? 1.8. And then we can look up that verse number. Right? So that
I think 36.
36. Okay. 1.836. So many verses, but we should know all these verses, that this is, and be convinced that the real solution to all our anxiety, stress is to hear Hari Katha. Right? And Brahma is actually making the same point. Right? And those who don't hear Hari Katha, then their anxieties continue. And then Prabhupada in his purport, he makes a point. He says, yes, people are unfortunate that they are not hearing Harikatha, but what is the only way they can actually get saved from all this suffering? Go out, distribute books. Actually, Prabhupada says their only hope is only by the grace of pure devotees can such unfortunate men be elevated to the position of devotional service. Last sentence of the purport. Only when pure devotees go out. They don't want to hear about Krishna. But devotees, on the order of Srila Prabhupada, we go out and knock on the door. Just go door to door, knock on the door, disturb their daily life and say, why are you suffering? Medicine is right here. Please take Bhagavad Gita. Please take Bhagavatam. Please take Chaitanya Charitamrita. This is the only solution. If you consider actually what a responsibility we have. Imagine the whole world is suffering. 99.9% of the people are suffering, as Brahmaji is saying. All the lamentation, greed, anxieties. And somehow we are the ones who have the medicine. How much responsibility we have. It's like just like, there's a COVID pandemic. And somehow if you get, oh, this is a medicine, just take it and everything will be cured. And how much responsibility you have to actually spread this all around the world. Similarly, we have that responsibility. Prabhupada, that's why, has given us an order. Please distribute books, distribute books, distribute books. This is the medicine for all the suffering, for all the people. Let everyone get this medicine. This is the only solution. Right? Again, in the next verse, purport also, Prabhupada again stresses on this point. Okay, so the only hope is the mercy of devotees. And what kind of devotees? We know 3 levels of devotees, right? What kind of devotees?
Madhyama.
A Madhyam Adhikari who actually goes out and preaches, right? So Madhyam Adhikari. So Prabhupada said we should at least come to a level of Madhyam and develop that mood of compassion and go out and distribute. Okay, text number 8.
Shutritritधातुभिर्इमामुहुरर्ध्यमाना शीतोष्णवातावरशैर् इतरेतराश्च कामाग्निनाच्युतरुषा च सुदुर्भरेण सम्पश्यतो मन उरुक्रमासिद्धते.
Sri Krishna translation. O great actor, my lord, all these poor creatures are constantly perplexed by hunger, thirst, severe cold, secretion, and bile, attacked by coughing winter, blasting summer, rains, and many other disturbing elements, and overwhelmed by strong sex urges and indefatigable anger. I take pity on them, and I am very much aggrieved for them. Hare Krishna.
So here is a list. If you want a list of suffering, here is a list. So after the list, maybe we can discuss. You can make a list of the happiness in this material world. Okay, let's see which is more. Okay, so first he says Shuta. Shuta means hunger. Trita, thirst. Tri dhatu bihi. It says in our body, according to Ayurveda, our body is a composition of Kapha, Pitta, Vayu. And all the diseases are because of an imbalance of these three. Like if you go to an Ayurvedic doctor, he'll actually say, oh, your Pitta is out of balance. You should reduce the heat in your body. Or your Kapha is this, or your Pitta. So all the diseases cause of Kapha, Pitta, Vayu. So three dhatu bi. Then Muhu, always we are suffering with all these things. And then further he continues. Shita. Shita means winter. Ushna, summer. Sometimes too cold, sometimes too hot. Vata, or too windy. Varashahi, rains. Itara, itarat, and so many other disturbances. Kamagni, strong sex desire, right? Urges that you cannot just sit quietly. So much urges. And then he says, he uses the word Achyuta Rusha. What's the meaning of Achyuta?
Infallible.
Infallible. Krishna is called Achyuta, right? Now Brahma is saying Achyuta Rusha, infallible anger. He's actually saying that once we get angry, we get so angry, the whole life we maintain the angry. How could that person do that? If I just get a chance, I'll just like smash him or something like, that anger is like, Brahma is saying that anger is almost like infallible. We get angry and we don't want to give up that angry. There is no question of forgiveness. We just like hold on to the anger. And that anger, who is it hurting more than like, it actually hurts the person who hold on to the anger rather than the other person. So hence, Brahmaji is saying, Achyuta Rusha. We become angry and we don't want to forgive, and actually we are suffering more because of holding on to the anger rather than the other person. So he says that. Okay. And then all this list is there. And after the whole thing, he says, Sampashyataha. And seeing all this, Manaha, my mind, is Siddhate, becomes very despondent, becomes very sad. Right? And Su Dur Bhavena. It's very difficult to see all the suffering of all these people. Urukrama, oh great Lord, this is the list of suffering of all living people. And when is Brahma saying this prayer? At the start of the creation. People have not even started suffering. People are still like, they don't even have bodies at this point. And Brahma, at the start of the day, he's already saying, oh, this is what people are going to suffer from. And he's feeling sad for all these living. And we'll see in the next chapter also that Brahma, when he starts creating, the first thing he creates is 5 kinds of ignorance. I say, like, why would Brahma do that? There are 5 different kinds of ignorance. Brahma first creates 5 kinds of ignorance. Why? Before even creating our body, the hardware, he's created a corrupted software where we are filled with ignorance. Why is that? Because the jivas itself, they are, they are coming back into this material world because of their karma and all those things. And this list of all this Shuddha, Trita, Tridhatubi, everything is there just so that the jivas realize oh, why are we suffering in this material world? As long as, right, the previous word, yavat tavat, as long as we do not take shelter of Krishna, the suffering is going to continue. Just to make the jivas realize the plan of this entire material creation, Brahma is actually going to create ignorance, and then he's going to, here he's actually feeling pity for all these living entities. And he's feeling sad, and he says, my mind is actually siddhate, becomes despondent, becomes sad, just thinking of the condition of all living entities. Right? And this is a mood of a devotee. A devotee should actually have that mood of feeling pain, seeing the condition of all living entities. Like, why did Prabhupada actually leave? Like, if you go to Vrindavan, even now, you go, you spend few days, and you feel like, oh, this is the best, right? Vrindavan, who wants to leave Vrindavan? Right? They have T-shirts where they, on the T-shirts it says, I lost my heart in Vrindavan. Right? You go to Vrindavan, it's just like, who wants to leave? Imagine the devotion. Like, we are just like neophytes, and we get little attraction to Vrindavan. But imagine Prabhupada's love for Vrindavan Dham. And still, he was there in like the hub of the spiritual world, Radha Damodar temple. And still, he left that just with that mood of that, oh, everyone in the world is suffering, and there is only one medicine, this Srimad Bhagavatam. Right? What did Prabhupada say? Like, someone asked Prabhupada before he was coming, so Swamiji, you're going to US, America? Prabhupada said, no. Srimad Bhagavatam is going, and I am just carrying. I'm the servant of Srimad Bhagavatam. Srimad Bhagavatam. So Prabhupada did not come to America until the first 3 volumes of the Srimad Bhagavatam was written, because this is the solution. And so Bhagavatam is going, I am just a servant, carrying Bhagavatam to take Bhagavatam everywhere. Right? So this is a mood of a devotee. Even in Prahlad Maharaj's prayers, Prabhupada often quotes this. This is the Srimad Bhagavatam 7:9-43. Naivo duje paradurataya vaitaranyas. Twadvira gayana mahamatra magna chitta. Soche tato vimukha chetasa indriyartha. Maya sukhaya bharam udvato vimudnan. Prahlad Maharaj is saying, O best of great personalities, he's telling to Narsimhadev, I am not at all afraid of material existence. For wherever I stay, I am fully absorbed in thoughts of your glories. That's the mood of a devotee. Wherever I am, I don't have problems because I'm always thinking of Krishna and feeling that bliss in chanting the holy name. My concern is only for those fools and rascals. So rascal is not just Prabhupada's word. Even Prahlad Maharaj is actually saying, all these rascals, but that's saying that rascal is in a mood of compassion, who are making elaborate plans for material happiness and maintaining their family, society, country. I am simply concerned with love for them. What is that mood? That compassion even Brahmaji is feeling? Because he is feeling love for everyone. All of them are children of Krishna. So when we go out for preaching, for sharing Krishna consciousness, it's out of the mood of love. To share the love that Prabhupada is giving to the whole world, we are actually going and distributing books. Right? So this is Prahlad Maharaj, and we see Brahmaji, the same mood. And towards the end of the purport, again Prabhupada says the same thing. Therefore, unless the devotees of the Lord take pity on them and teach them the right path, their lives are hopeless failures. Hopeless failure. See what responsibility we have. Everyone's life is a hopeless failure unless they come in contact with Srila Prabhupada's books. Hence our whole, Prabhupada said, if you want to please me, distribute these books. This is the real medicine. Give the books, give the holy name, give prasadam, give this out to everyone. And then Prabhupada says, the devotees of the Lord who voluntarily take the responsibility of raising the foolish materialistic sense enjoyers are as confidential to the Lord as Lord Brahma. Right? What is the conclusion of Bhagavad Gita? Nacha tasman manusheshu kashid me priya kritama. There's no servant more dear than one who actually gives us knowledge of Bhagavad Gita to others. Right? So that's how it goes. Okay. So text number 9. Will do 9.
Yeah.
Good.
Yavat prithaktvam idam atmana indriyartha maya balam bhagavato jana isha pashyat tavanna samsritiraso pratisankramita vyarthapi dukkha nivaham vahati kritriyartha.
Hare Krishna. O my Lord, the material miseries are without factual existence for the soul. Yet, as long as the conditioned soul sees the body as meant for sense enjoyment, he cannot get out of the entanglement of material desires, being influenced by your external energy. Hare Krishna.
So again, this verse is Yavat Tavat, right? Second verse, we are seeing Yavat Tavat. First line Yavat, third line Tavat. So here it says Yavat. So as long as, and particularly here it says Pritaktvam. Pritaktvam. That means the mood of separatism, the mood of seeing the body as a means for sense gratification. As long as we see the body, we identify that, oh, I am this body, and we see the body as a means for sense gratification. Atma Indriya Artha. We see this body as a means for sense gratification. Tavat. So long, na samsmritihi. Right? As long as we are seeing our body, that misidentification is there, we cannot overcome the influence of material existence. Right? What was the discussion between Vidura and Maitreya Rishi? How is the jiva actually conditioned to this material existence? Jiva is pure. And what was the answer? Maitreya Rishi said, the whole thing is the concept of misidentification. The spirit soul as such is pure, it is Satchidananda. But because the spirit soul is misidentifying with this body, hence all the problem starts. The same point here. As long as we misidentify with the body, we think the body is a source of sense gratification, then we cannot overcome the influence of material existence. And then he says, Vyarthi api. So although dukkha nivaham, there's multiple miseries, kriya artha, it gives results to all actions of fruitive activities. So as long as we are misidentifying with this body, we cannot overcome the material existence, and we will actually be doing kriya artha, we'll be doing so many activities which are actually the cause of multiple miseries. So again, yavat tavat. So the whole trouble is actually, people actually in this world, they have this whole, like it's a society. I want to be independent. The independent revolution. And even like, children growing up, oh, I want to be independent. We have the mentality, why should I, just few days before we were in Bhagavad Gita class, and one person, like, he came for the first time. He said, like, I was talking, Gita, and his question was like, what about our independence? If we start following all these rules, what about our own independence? But the whole problem is that we are trying to be independent. Right? But even in our conditioned state, we are dependent. Even in our liberated state, we are dependent. There is no question of independence. Right? In our conditioned state, actually, we are just controlled by, you remember the photo of the three modes of material nature? We are just controlled by the mode of goodness, passion, ignorance. Where is independence? We are just like those, what's it called? Katputli, we say.
Puppets.
Puppets.
Yes. They're just like puppets in the hands of the three modes of material nature, Prakriti. Right? So even in conditioned state, we are under that influence. And when we are liberated, what is our solution to get liberated, to get free? Is to actually declare our dependence on Krishna. So the point of independence is, oh, I want to become independent. Independent from what? That itself is a cause of our illusion. Right? We cannot get independent from the laws of material nature. It's impossible. Only when we declare our dependence on Krishna, then Maya will actually say, okay, you're just changing the ownership. We are changing our master from Maya to Krishna. But we are always dependent. There is no question. So Prabhupada says, the whole trouble is this independent conception of life. But both in the condition and liberation, we are actually dependent on the rules of the Supreme Personality of God. Right? And what is the solution? Right? So Prabhupada in this, he quotes the solution as Bhagavad Gita, 2:55. When Arjun asked Krishna, can you say who is a spiritual person? How will I recognize a spiritual person? And Krishna gives the answer, Shri Bhagavan Vacha, Prajati yada kama sarvan partha manogatan atmanya evatma tushtaha stita pragya taduchate. Who is a stita pragya? Who is a spiritual person? And Krishna says, a man who gives up all varieties of desire for sense gratification, which arise from mental concoction, manogatan, and when his mind thus purified, finds satisfaction in the self, then he is a spiritual person. So what is the solution? We stop identifying with this body and we're saying this body is a source of all these sense gratification. We stop that and we say we actually find satisfaction just within. And that is the way we can actually get free from all these anxieties, right? And how can you find the satisfaction within? The only way is when we actually connect ourselves with our source. And that's the only way we can get that satisfaction, which is a solution. Right? Like, one devotee, he used to always say this, like there's an English song, I've never heard it, but he always says in the class, and there's an English song that goes, I don't find no satisfaction, and I try and try and try. I don't know if anyone has heard this. So there's some English song like that, like material, and even in the material world, people are actually singing, I don't find no satisfaction. I'm trying and trying and trying. Still, there is no satisfaction. Even materialists, they are admitting it, right? But the only satisfaction is when we actually turn inwards and connect ourselves with Krishna, right? That is the only solution. Okay, text number 10. So that last text 10 will complete this section. Take a pause.
Anya pratarto karanani nishayana nana manoratha dhiya kshana bhagna nidra daivahatartha rachanarashayopi deva yushmat prasanga vimukari samsaranti.
Hare Krishna. Such non-devotees engage their senses in very troublesome and extensive work, and they suffer insomnia at night because their intelligence constantly breaks their sleep with various mental speculations. They are frustrated in all their various plans by supernatural power. Even great sages, if they are against your transcendental topics, must rotate in this material world.
So imagine this is the starting of the day, starting of creation. Now people have not even got their bodies. And Brahma is saying they are going to have the problem of insomnia. Now these days, like, it's like sleeping pills. It's like become a common thing. People cannot sleep without taking sleeping medicine. And Brahma is already predicting this is what is going to be the state of living entity. So what does he say? Ahani. During the daytime, aprita artha karanaha. They are engaged in very troublesome and extensive work. Working 18 hours a day. Just work. And then Nishi, at night, which is at Niyashayana, they actually suffer insomnia. Why? Why do they suffer insomnia? Nana manoratha. Nana means many. Manoratha means the mind, the chariot of the mind, right? It says, Nana manoratha dhiya shana bhagna nidraha, right? So the various, like, because they are so active whole day, working. At the night, they just continue to think about their work. They cannot stop thinking about their work, right? And Prabhupada in the purport, he elaborates. He says, the owners, right? The people who are managers or owners, they are also in the night thinking, how can I increase my market? Now I'm covering only this section of the market. How can I reach this other group? And they're just thinking, even in the night, they're thinking, how can I increase my sales? Right? And the other caste, the laborers, they are thinking, oh, the market is going to increase. How can I increase my production? So even they, even in night, they are just thinking of their work. Otherwise, they are thinking of, so here it says Shana Bhagna Nidra, and their Nidra is Shana Bhagna. Bhagna means broken. It's constantly broken. because their mind is so active, right? And even you may have seen this, like especially on some nights, when the moon is, based on the position of moon and things like that, you'll see that some nights the mind is more active. Like even for us, we can see that it may be just like, mind is just like keeps thinking. When the mind is so active, we cannot sleep. The night you just wake up and it's like, again, the mind just keep thinking of something, right? So, nidra bhagna nidra, constantly the sleep is broken. And then it says, daiva ahata artha vachana. And all their plans, they're making all the plans, day and night, even in night they are making plans. But all those plans will be daiva means supernatural powers, will be actually broken by the supernatural. They will be frustrated. They are thinking, I'm going to increase my production, I'm going to increase my sales, but all their plans are going to be frustrated. And then it says, Deva api rishya yusmat prasanga vimukha. Again, vimukha, turned away. Even the great sages, if they are against the topics of Krishna, they will also rotate in this material world. Right? So not only the non-devotees, but Brahma is also lamenting for the impersonalists and saying even those impersonalists, the Mayavadis, the impersonalists, all those who do not hear Krishna Katha, Brahma is feeling that, oh, they are suffering in this material world. Right? Okay. And Prabhupada says, he says, factory is another name for hell. This factory is another name for hell. Because factory means what? Working. And in the night, again, thinking. It's just like hellish condition. Right? And the night, people are actually engaged in wine, woman, and then because they are not satisfied with their work, night they try to have wine, they try to enjoy with women, and because night they are trying to satisfy their senses, then during the daytime, when they are trying to work, it falls. Right? On the table while working, they fall asleep. Right? And the boss will come and say, "Hey, why are you sleeping? You're supposed to work." And then they fall asleep during the day. Prabhupada is saying all this, right? They feel sleepy during the day. Okay. And then Prabhupada talks of the sages. The sages who are averse to principles of devotional service are condemned to this materialistic life. Right? So Prabhupada says there are many sages who may try to invent their own religion, but there cannot be any religious principle without devotional service to Krishna. Right? Savai pumsa paro dharmo yato bhaktir atokshaya. So there is no dharma, no true dharma, which is not leading one to devotional service to Krishna. Right? Prabhupada makes this point. And then he says, how can we know this? Dharmam tu sakshat bhagavad pranitam. The real dharma is dharma enunciated by the Lord himself or by those 12 Mahajans. Right? So in the 6th canto, we see Yamiraj, he actually lists 12 Mahajans. And he says, Mahajano yena gatatsa panta. Only these Mahajans, they actually know what is true dharma, and hence one should actually follow in the footsteps of Mahajans. Who are these 12 Mahajans? Can you say the names? At least few of them.
Narada. Go ahead.
Beast.
Okay, Bhishma Pitama. Gopinath Acharya, what was it?
Swayambhu Manu.
Swayambhuva Manu, right? Bhishma Pitama,
Yamraj.
Yamraj, Narada,
Narad Muni.
Narad,
Prahlada.
Shankara Bhagwan,
right?
Prahlad, yeah.
Lord Shiva.
Lord
Lord-
Shiva.
Yes.
Yes.
And,
Brahma.
Brahma. Swayambhu, Narada, Sambhu,
Prahlad ji.
Prahlad, right? Kumara, Kapila,
Kumara.
Manu,
Yes.
right? So on. So these are 12 Mahajans, and only these 12 Mahajans, they actually know what is true dharma, right? And hence one should actually, if you want to understand dharma, approach these 12 Mahajans. Otherwise, it is very difficult to understand what is true dharma. So true dharma without devotional service to the Lord, like any dharma which is without devotional service to the Lord, is actually not true dharma. And then Prabhupada quotes towards the end this verse from Ishopanishad: Andam tama pravishyanti ye sambhutim upasate tato bhuya evate tamo Ya u sambhutyam rataha. And what does that verse mean? It actually says that those who are ignorant of true dharma, okay, that is one category. But worse than that are those who are ignorant of true dharma, but they actually pose themselves as, oh, this is dharma. They are actually worse. Why? Because they're doing such a big disservice. And if you see, like you go to YouTube and see all the spiritual groups, how many spiritual groups are there? And this is a symptom of Kali Yuga. People get so attracted, this guru, that guru, and all these things. Without knowing what is true dharma, they're just posing, oh yes, I know true dharma. That is such a disservice. Better than that is that you are in a position where you say, okay, I don't know dharma. But that position of like stating that, oh, I know, I am a leader, right? So Prabhupada says, it's just like the blind leading the blind. And they both are going to fall into a deep, dark well. The Prabhupada condemns all this, right? And Prabhupada says, such leaders are condemned by Brahma himself. That is saying even great sages, they will actually have this reputation of birth and death. So that's the first section. I mean, the second section here, where Brahma is seeing that, okay, all these living entities, they are going to get bodies and they are going to suffer in this material world. Right? Unless they take shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord, unless they hear Krishna Katha, there is no solution for all these living entities. So he's pitying them, he's feeling sad for them out of love. And these are the jivas, I'm going to give them bodies, but they are going to suffer so much. So he's thinking in that way. He's feeling compassion for all of them. Okay. Any comments, questions, realizations?
Prabhuji, Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, like these symptoms looks like more of Kali Yuga, but in Brahma's one day, like there are 4 yugas, right, Prabhu?
Yes.
Do they suffer like how we suffer, Prabhu?
I mean, the suffering may be at different scale, but suffering is there even in Satya Yuga. Even in Dwapar Yuga, Treta Yuga, there is suffering, for sure. But it's just at different levels. Even in Satya Yuga, birth, old age, disease, death is there. Maybe the disease is not as bad as it is now in Kali Yuga, but even people suffer from diseases. So the principles of anxiety and frustration is there even in Satya Yuga, it is there. But it's like to a lesser extent, but it is there. That's a good question, actually, good question. So Brahma is saying, like, even in Satya Yuga, even if someone is like, pious, let's say, we meet some people who are like pious, very religious and get up, they chant, and do some puja and all those things. And they don't like, eat meat or anything, like a pious lifestyle. So maybe in Satya Yuga, you see more of these people. But the point is, unless even these pious people, they take shelter of Srimad Bhagavatam, they hear Hari Katha, their anxieties are not gone. And Brahmaji is saying, only those people who actually take to Hari Katha, they have the solution to all your anxieties. Otherwise, material world means anxieties. What to talk of Satya Yoga? Even Indra, right, in Swargalok, always in anxiety. What anxiety? Someone will take over my position. Right? Prithu Maharaj, 99. If he does one more, my position will go. I should go and I should actually stop him. Right? And so much we see in that episode that how Indra, he actually is so desperate to stop that 100th sacrifice of Prithu Maharaj that he comes as a sannyasi and preaches adharma just to stop that. Imagine. So Indra, who is actually such a, one way he is empowered by Lord to actually be the king of Swargalok. Very special position. And then we see in 10th canto how he actually comes. He actually has darshan of Krishna. After the Govardhan Lila, he himself comes, he sees Krishna. He does Abhishek of Krishna. So he's such an elevated person. But still, he is actually always in anxiety. So everyone is anxiety. Unless they hear Krishna Katha, they are in anxiety. Right? So that's why Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita, Bhagavad Gita, everyone should have this. This is the only solution, only solution, only solution. Good question, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhu.
One more question is like we see the 12 Mahajanas, but Vyasadeva is not listed. His Guru Maharaj, Narad Muni, and Sukadeva Goswami is listed. And Vyasadeva wrote all the Vedas and Mahabharata, Srimad Bhagavatam.
Hmm.
What is the qualification for Mahajana, and why is Vyasadeva not included in that?
Vyasadeva is the incarnation of the Lord.
Okay. Lord Shiva is also there in the list. So Shiva can be said to be an incarnation, a Guna avatar. So, okay, so what is the answer? Why is Vyasadeva? See, the point is Yamraj is listing these 12 personalities as Mahajans, right? But that does not mean that this list is an all-inclusive list. So certainly Vyasadeva himself has written all the Shastra. He's given writing Srimad Bhagavatam. So how can we say Vyasadeva is not a Mahajan? No, he's also a Mahajan. Like one disciple came to Srila Prabhupada and he said, Bhagavatam talks of 12 Mahajans. But Prabhupada, I think you're the 13th Mahajan. And what did Prabhupada say? Prabhupada looked at the devotee and he said, you should become the 14th Mahajan. Imagine, like, what is Prabhupada thinking? He said, everyone become a Mahajan, preach Krishna consciousness. Right? So Prabhupada said, yes, okay, 13 Mahajan. I am preaching Krishna Katha. I am preaching all these, what the same 12 personalities I have preached, that's what I'm preaching. But he said, you become the 14th. You become a Mahajan, go preach. That is Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. There's Gaur Purnima. What is his instruction? Yare dekhe, tare kahe, Krishna upesh. Amara agya guru hoya, tara epesh. Right? Yare dekhe, tare kahe. Wherever, whoever you meet, give them Krishna Katha. Give them Prabhupada's books. Speak to them about Krishna. Amara agya guru hoya. You become a guru on my order. You become a guru. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is saying, everyone become a guru. What did Bhakti Saraswati Thakur say? I am not, he's such a, he had 60,000 disciples, but he said, I am not here to make disciples. I am here to make spiritual masters. That means every disciple is actually a guru. I want to make everyone become a guru, go out and preach. That's a mood. So this 12 are listed by Yamraj, actually speaks this in that Ajamil pastime. But this is not an all-inclusive list. Is that okay, Mohan Prabhu? Mohan Prabhu, it's okay?
Yes, Prabhu. Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, it's not the complete list. It's just a few of them. Okay.
Personalities mentioned.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you.
Any other points, realizations?
No,
Hare
Prabhu.
Krishna, Prabhuji. In the last line of the purport of text 8, I like that Prabhupada is saying that the devotees of the Lord who voluntarily take the responsibility of raising the foolish materialist sense enjoyers are as confidential to the Lord as Lord Brahma.
Right? As I quoted that verse, Nacha Tasma Manusheshu. Krishna says, those who distribute this, they become the most dear servants of the Lord, most confidential servant. If you actually share Krishna consciousness with us. Right? Okay. Who was someone else started to speak?
Yeah, Prabhuji, I was asking.
Oh.
Maybe I will go at the end, Prabhu, if no one has any questions.
Go ahead, Prabhu. You can continue.
Yeah. Prabhu, like you were talking to one person and he said like what will happen to our independence. So what is your answer, Prabhu? Like to him, like this is very commonly asked question, Prabhu.
The main answer is just to make them realize that we are not independent now. And we are spirit soul who is actually part and parcel of Krishna, and we are just tiny. Our situation, our constitution is that we are infinitesimal. That means we are very tiny. And a tiny jiva can never be independent. So to have the conception that I'll be independent You can challenge them. What do you want to be independent from? You want to be independent from, okay, my parents tell me this and this, I want to be independent of that. What do you want to be independent from? Can you become independent of the laws of nature? Can you become independent and say, okay, this disease is coming, I don't want this disease? Can you become independent? No, we are all subjected to the laws of nature. This material body, what is the first instruction Krishna gives Arjuna? No one can stop the change of the body. Right? Dhiras tatra na muyati. One who is intelligent, he says body is changing, but I should not be bewildered by it. You are already subjected to laws. Where is the question of your independence? To say that we are independent, that is foolishness. So our constitutional nature is that we are always dependent. Now, the only choice we have is, are we dependent on the material laws, which is actually just going to cause so much suffering, or are we dependent on Krishna, where there is only bliss and happiness? So that's our choice. But we can never be independent. Our constitutional nature itself is that we are infinitesimal. We are tiny, right? Part and parcel of Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Any other points? So let's continue. We'll do one more section, the next section, and then we'll stop. So maybe by 9 we'll stop a little early today. So the next section is from text 11 to 13, and this is the Lord's reciprocation with various devotees. Okay, so let's start text number 11.
Tvam bhakti yoga paribhavita ritsaroja ase shrutekshita pato nanunata pumsam yad yadhiyata urugaya vibhavayanti tad tad vapu pranayase sadanugrahaya. O my Lord, your devotees can see you through the ears by the process of bona fide hearing, and thus their hearts become cleansed, and you take your seat there. You are so merciful to your devotees that you manifest yourself in the particular eternal form of transcendence in which they always think of you.
Okay, so this is actually one of the famous verses. I mean, the important verses to memorize also. So here it says, so before we heard what? By our ears, what can we do? What can you do with our ears?
Drink.
Smell.
Okay. So first canto it says Pibanti Bhagavata Rasam Anayam. So we drink the nectar through our ears. Then in this chapter, what did we see?
Smell.
Smell, right? We smell the lotus feet of the Lord, the fragrance of the lotus feet of the Lord through, again, hearing Krishna Katha. Now third, right? So with our ears, we can drink, we can smell, and now what do? We can see through our ears. Right? So here, what is Brahmaji saying? Your devotees can see you through the ears. Right? So what is the process? So it says Bhakti Yoga Paribhavita. So this word Paribhavita means, how Prabhupada translates, means 100% engaged in devotional service of the Lord. Right? So those who are 100% engaged in devotion, completely infused with bhakti, then for those devotees, it says Rita Saroja Ase. Rita means heart, Saroja means lotus. The Lord actually resides on the lotus of the heart of such a devotee. Right? So when those who are completely infused with Bhakti Yoga, 100%, for them the Lord actually resides on the lotus of their heart. And when they are, because they are completely infused with Bhakti Yoga, they are always hearing Krishna Katha. And because of that, Shruta Ikshiti Pataha, then the Lord does not leave the heart of such devotees. Right? You are seen through the ears by hearing Krishna Katha. So Hari Katha is so wonderful that even the Lord actually relishes hearing Hari Katha. Right? So when you're hearing, the Lord is actually seated in the heart of every living entity. And those who are completely infused with bhakti, the Lord does not want to leave, because they know the devotee is either chanting or hearing. Shravanam Kirtanam is always going to go on. So why would the Lord leave? He is also relishing the Shravanam Kirtanam that the devotee is doing. So Lord does not leave, right? And then further, so that's the first part of this verse. And then he says, Pumsam yat yat. So whichever way the devotees, Dhiya Urugaya Vibhovayanti, they meditate on the glories of the Lord, Tat Tat. Right? So today we are seeing many verses. Yavat Tavat. Right? So now again we see Yat Yat, Tat Tat. Right? As long as and then. So whichever way the devotees, they meditate on the glories, Tat Tat, in the very same way. Bapuhu Pranayase. In that way, you actually manifest to the devotee Sat Anugraya by your causeless mercy. Right? What does this mean? The Lord is seated in the heart of every living entity. But which form of the Lord?
Paramatma form.
ये यथा माम प्रपद्यन्ते.
That still does not answer. Which form of the
Shirodaksha
Shyamasundara form.
is
In general, people have the Paramatma, the Lord Vishnu form in their heart, right? Four-handed form.
Shrirodaksha Vishnu.
Shirodaksha, he said.
Okay, so we have discussed this point before, 285, right? See, yes, Lord is seated in the heart as Paramatma in every living entity, even in the heart of an atheist. Then why does it say here Lord is sitting in the heart? No, we are not talking of just Paramatma. We are talking of that same Lord, Paramatma in the heart. He actually, when the devotee hears Krishna Katha, he is no longer just a role of Paramatma, right? He actually manifests himself in the form in which the devotee is meditating on the Lord. So if someone is a Ram Bhakta, right? He's just hearing the glories of Lord Ramchandra, right? Then what form of the Lord is in his heart? Lord Ramchandra. Right? And then if someone is, devotee of Radha Shyam Sundar, and that's what he's meditating on, what form is manifested in the heart? Radha Shyam Sundar. And today I started the class with that verse, Anarpita Charim Chirat Karuna Avatirna Kilo, Samayirpitam Unnatto Jolo Rasamsa Bhakti Shrim, Hari Purata Sundari Kadamba Sandipito, Sada Hridaya Kandare. Sada Hridaya Kandare. Always in your heart, in the core of your heart, Spurato Va Satchinandan. So our prayer is that, oh Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, oh Gaura Hari, you please manifest in the core of my heart. Because you are my Ishtadev. You are my most worshipful Lord. So based on the mood of a devotee, the Lord is actually manifesting in that way. He's sitting in the heart based on how the devotee is worshipping the Lord. So it could be Narasimhadev, it could be Varahadev, it could be Vamanadev, it could be Radha Shyamsundar, it could be Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So that's why this verse is, yet, whichever way the devotee is actually meditating on the Lord, that very same Vapuhu form, the Lord is actually manifesting in the heart, Sat Anugrahaya, out of mercy for his devotee. Right? So I had mentioned this point before, that how my Guru Maharaj once asked Prabhupada about, he had a question about Paramatma in the heart. He said, Paramatma in the heart is a four-handed form. He's seated in the heart of every living entity. And what did Prabhupada say? Yes, 400 form is seated in heart, but in your heart, telling my Guru Maharaj, it is Radha Shyamsundar. Because that is the worshipful form. In your heart, Radha Shyamsundar is seated. So that same form of Paramatma, that is there in everyone's heart, the Anumanta, Upadrishta. But as soon as we hear Hari Katha, it no longer is Paramatma, it is Bhagwan. And based on our mood of hearing, mood of devotion, he is manifesting that form. Is that clear? So even Vrindavan Vilasini Mata, she made the point about Ye Yathama Prabhupada, or Prabhupada quotes. And why is Prabhupada quoting that point? As one serves Krishna, that form Krishna will manifest in the heart. Reciprocation. Right? And when Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went on his South India tour, right, he met this one Brahmana who was a Ram Bhakta. Right? And all he could do, okay, and there are two stories of Ram Bhakta, but I'll just tell the other one. So one is, he was a Ram Bhakta, and he actually invited Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to his house. And when Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to his house, this devotee was like, he hadn't prepared anything. Actually, when Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was touring South India, wherever he went, people used to invite, oh, please come to the house, take prasad. And Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu used to go, right? And here, this person he invited, and Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came there, and nothing is prepared. Imagine like you're given an invitation. Please come to my house for lunch prasadam. And you go, and no prasadam is cooked. You're like, you invited me for lunch, right? So Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he actually went and said, oh, nothing is prepared. And then he said, what did he say? He actually made the point. He said, oh, we are now in the forest. And unless Lakshman goes and brings some roots and fruits, and unless Mother Sita cooks them, how can we eat prasadam? He was so absorbed in Ramayana. His Ishtadev was Lord Ramchandra, that when Lord Ramchandra was in the forest, in Vanvas, then what used to happen? Lakshman used to go, get some roots, some fruits, and then give it to Sita Maya. And then she used to actually prepare those things for Lord Ramchandra. And this person is just in that consciousness. So this is a Ram Bhakta. So I'm just giving the example because, and then also the story continues that how this person, he actually somehow prepares something, serves Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and then he actually, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu sees that this person is very sad, and he says, "Why are you so sad?" And what does he say? This Ram Bhakta, he actually says, because since the point that how Ravan, that demon, could actually touch Sita Maya, I cannot even sleep, I cannot do anything, I just want to give up my life just thinking that how a demon Ravan could actually touch Mother Sita. That is the level of his absorption in Ramayana. And then Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu informed him that actually it wasn't Sita. How can Raman touch Sita? That was just Maya Sita. And then when Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu traveled further, he reached Setubandha. Then there he was hearing in the Kurma Purana, they were reading from Kurma Purana, and there it was said that how it was actually when Ravan came to kidnap Sita, then Mother Sita, she entered into the fire and went to Parvati. And then Parvati sent an illusory Sita with Ravan. And then when Ravan was killed finally, then what did Lord Ramchandra say? Agni Pariksha. You have to prove yourself that you are pure. But that Agni Pariksha was basically that illusory Sita entered into fire and the real form of Sita came out of the fire. So this was there in Kurma Purana. And then Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went back to this Brahmana and showed, this is the proof. And the Brahmana was like, okay, now I'm very happy. And he cooked now nicely a nice feast and served Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So anyway, so based on what is our inclination of which form we are worshipping, that form is manifested in our heart. Right? So that is this verse here. Okay. Okay. So by our ears, what can we do? We can taste, we can smell, we can see. Right? I mean, your children are growing up and they're learning in school. And they say like, okay, nose is for smelling. When they ask ears for, you can say hearing, tasting, and seeing. That is the power of our ears. Right? Hearing, tasting, and seeing. That's how we experience Krishna. Right? So this verse is talking about seeing Krishna through our ears. Okay. Okay. So how do we actually develop this? When will the Lord, when we talk of Bhakti Yoga Paribhavita, right? So Prabhupada actually makes this point that Bhakti Yoga Paribhavita is a very high, is a advanced stage of devotion. It's not that anyone, even a neophyte, or next verse we'll read about those who are worshipping Krishna for material desires, not that mood. 100% in devotion, right? And Prabhupada takes, it's a gradual process from Shraddha to Prema. Shraddha, Sadhu Sangha, Bhajana Kriya, Anartha Nivritti, Nishta, Ruchi, Ashakti, Bhav, Prem. So step by step we have to progress, right? And as we are progressing, in Bhajana Kriya, we get initiation and we are hearing from the spiritual master. And when we continue this hearing up to the stage of Nishta, ruchi, asakti, we are hearing. And when we go to these advanced stages, then the Lord will actually manifest in our heart. Right? The Lord actually becomes captured in the heart of his devotee. Okay. And then Prabhupada actually makes the point. Right? So originally, like when we all say, so we will say like, okay, I'm not advanced. And we're hearing Harikatha. So what form of the Lord is manifested in my heart? So initially the mood is Jivera Swarupai Krishna Radha. So everyone is in the mood of seva, right? And then as we progress, then Prabhupada says, based on our attachment, our Swarup Siddhi will be revealed. What is our true position in relationship to Krishna? What is are we Dasya Bhakta or Sakya Bhakta or Vatsalya Bhakta, right? Or Madhurya Bhakta? That position will be revealed, but it's all by hearing, right? And Lord does not disclose himself to the casual devotee. Casual means one who is actually worshipping Krishna, but at the same time engaged in sense gratification. To the unauthentic worshipper, those who are just worshipping Krishna without following the Shastra, or the pseudo devotees, those who worship demigods, the Lord will not reveal himself to such categories. He will reveal himself to only those who are paribhava, 100% engaged in devotion to Krishna. Our faith should be just only Krishna, right? 100%, not these demigods, not this personality, not faith in material things, 100% Krishna. Then the Lord manifests himself in our core of our heart. Okay, now text number 12.
Nati prasidati tatopachitoparcharar aradita suraguna dhayar ridhi badha kamai yat sarva bhuta tavaya sadalabhya yaiko nana janeshva vahita surirantaratma.
Hare Krishna. My Lord, you are not very much satisfied by the worship of the demigods, who arrange your worship very pompously with various paraphernalia, but who are full of material hankerings. You are situated in everyone's heart as a super soul just to show your causeless mercy, and you are the eternal well-wisher, but you are unavailable for non-devotees.
So three categories are mentioned in this verse, right? Law's reciprocation. First, he says, Nati prasidati. Prasida means happy. So Nati, you're not very pleased with what? Aradhita, worship, but upachita, upacharaha. You're not very much pleased when you're worshipped with pompous arrangement, with so much like, material paraphernalia, when the heart is ready, bandh, kamai. So someone can worship the Lord with elaborate yagya or elaborate arrangements. But if the heart is full of baddha kamai, material desires, then the Lord is not very pleased. That means those who are worshipping the Lord with material desires, the Lord is not very pleased with them. And here the point is referring to those who are the demigods. So like Indra, they actually accept Krishna as the Lord, they worship the Lord, right? In Brihad Bhagavatamrita, right? The story actually goes, first he goes to Brahmana, then he goes to the king in South India. King in South India says, Indra, you should go to Indra. When it comes to Indra, he says, Indra, you are the greatest recipient of the mercy of the Lord. Right? And Indra, he points out, oh, I have all these faults. Don't you see? But Narad Muni is seeing Indra is worshipping the Lord. But he has all these faults, like he has these material motivation. So here Brahmaji is saying that those who have this worship the Lord with all these material desires, the Lord is not very pleased. Then second category, he said, Sarva Bhuta Dayayaya. Right? So second category is those people, right, who actually show causeless mercy to Sarvabhuta. Second category are those people who show their mercy to all the people. Which is this category?
Devotees of the Lord.
Yes, these are the devotees of the Lord. And this is the second category. And the third category is Asat Alabhaya. Those who are non-devotees, then the Lord is not available to them. Right? And then further it says, Nana Janeshu Avihita. So the Lord reciprocates, ye yathamam prapadante, right? As the people turn to Krishna, the Lord reciprocates to that extent. So nana janeshu. So different people, how they approach the Lord actually reciprocates. But this verse concludes by saying, oh, does that mean the Lord is partial? Is he partial to his devotees? Yes or no?
Yes. Reciprocate.
You say the Lord is partial, then someone may say, like, what kind of Lord is this? He is the creator of everyone. How can he be partial? Partiality, impartiality is a material quality. How can the Lord have material quality? So here it actually, the verse concludes by saying, Ekaha, this one Lord, is one without a second. And Surit Anta Atmaha. He is actually the best friend in the heart of every living entity. Even in the heart of demons, even in the heart of the atheists, even in the heart of envious people, the Lord is still the best friend of all these living entities. So Lord, one way, is impartial to all living entities. But yes, if the devotees approach the Lord with that devotion, then Lord is reciprocal to them. Right? He becomes reciprocal. Right? So just to take out the point that the faults of hatred and partiality are not there in the Lord. Hatred and partiality, these two qualities are not there in the Lord. And Brahmaji concludes and says, Ekaha Surit Antar Atma. He is in the super soul and the heart of all living entities. Even the spider you may see in your house, or even the cockroach in your house. Right? Lord is in the heart of every living. Right? Very nice verse. So three categories: the demigods, the pure devotees, and the non-devotees. So Lord reciprocates based on how they turn to the Lord. Right? So now Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur actually elaborates on this. Okay? So previous verse we said how the Lord resides in the heart of those devotees. Which devotees? Who are Sarva Bhuta Dayaya, who actually show mercy to all other living entities. So, when the Lord is residing, when devotees are just bhavita, 100% engaged in devotion, then the Lord actually, He sits in the heart and He actually empowers the devotees with His Kripa Shakti. The Lord empowers His devotees with His Kripa Shakti, and because of that empowerment, they can go and preach Krishna consciousness all around the world. So we can say Srila Prabhupada, like how the verse in Chaitanya Charitamrita says what? Krishna Shakti bina ta nahi pravartan. Without the mercy of Krishna, no one can preach. Right? So because these devotees are paribhavita, they are engaged in devotion, sent person, then the Lord seated in the heart empowers them with Kripa Shakti, with the potency of showing mercy. And by that mercy, the devotees can actually preach Krishna consciousness to everyone. Right?
Yeah, in Bhagavad Gita it says Adrishta Sarvabhutana Maitra Karuna Eva cha.
Yes, yeah,
That's-
yes. It's a good reference, right? So devotees show mercy to all living beings, right? Okay, so the point is the Lord empowers the pure devotees with Kripa Shakti. Right? And then He actually, because the devotees are always just engaged in hearing Krishna Katha without any material motive, the Lord actually, He wants to glorify them. Right? Because they are serving the Lord so nicely, the Lord wants to glorify them. But how can He glorify the Lord? These people, they don't even want anything. Right? The Lord actually reciprocates with these devotees by empowering them with Kripa Shakti and then by spreading their fame all around the world. The fame of Srila Prabhupada spread all around the world. Right? And that's why the Lord is actually reciprocating with them. Okay. So, in the purport, Prabhupada actually makes a point. He says, first is he talks of demigods, how they are sakam devotees, right? They want to worship the Lord, but at the same time, they want to take advantage of material happiness. Is that our situation? We want to worship the Lord, but at the same time, take advantage of material happiness. Is that our situation?
Yes, it is mine.
It's good to be honest. Our situation is, at least I can speak for myself, that yes, we want to worship the Lord, but underneath, maybe we're not approaching the Lord directly and saying, "Oh, Krishna, please give me this, give me this." But underneath, there is this feeling like, Krishna, I'm worshiping you. Please, everything, let it go properly in my life. I don't want any problem. Underneath that mood is there. So we are worshiping the Lord, but underneath that, the desire may be there of just a comfortable material life. So as we progress in our bhakti, that also is actually an anartha. Maybe at our stage, okay, maybe that's what we are. We just have to be honest and say, like, okay, we have to still purify ourselves. Long way to go. Right? Have that conception and keep chanting. But we have to be honest and see that desire is still there. Right? We want a comfortable material life and worship. And things get up and down and something happens and we're like, Krishna, I'm chanting 16 rounds. Why is this happening? I'm serving devotees. I'm doing seva in temple. Why is this happening? Right? It's natural we pray in that way. We have to be where we are. We just have to be honest with ourselves. But it's a nice point to think about. That yes, this is a subtle desire that may be there. That I'm worshiping Krishna, but still I want to enjoy a comfortable life. But we have to rise above that. At some point in our stage of bhakti, we shouldn't care about it. We're like, oh Krishna, whatever you give, I am going to serve you. That is the position, right? Okay. And then, okay, so that's the Sakam devotees, the demigods. Then second, Prabhupada talks about pure devotees. They are not, okay, so pure devotees, what is their position? Are they averse to material enjoyment?
No, Yukta Vairagya, they'll use that
Right.
material benefits that they have in service of the Lord.
So they are not desiring material enjoyment, but at the same time, they are not averse to material, in the sense of that, okay, when material things actually come, actually they are averse to material enjoyment, but they are not averse to material things. That would be the right way of saying. Yes, we are averse to material. Who wants material enjoyment? We just want spiritual enjoyment, right? But material things we are not averse to, because all the material things that come, we can actually say, okay, Krishna gives a lottery, $1 million. Okay, whatever comes, let's build a new temple for Krishna. We'll use that to serve Krishna, right? So completely dovetail our desire with the desires of the Lord. That is pure devotees, right? So Prabhupada makes very nice. He says, pure devotees, they have this missionary responsibility. And again, we are making the same point. We all have that missionary responsibility. Go out, preach Krishna consciousness. Right? The Lord is unavailable to non-devotees. But because the Lord is so kind, He empowers the pure devotee to turn non-devotees to devotees. So nice, Prabhupada is explaining. The Lord is unavailable to non-devotees. He says, okay, you're non-devotee, I will keep a distance. Right? But those who are devotees, when the Lord is so kind, He says, okay, you are pure devotee. You actually go. You make non-devotees into devotees. And the Lord is so pleased by this missionary responsibility that He wants to give credit for the missionary success. And that is a sign of the Lord's satisfaction. That is a sign of the Lord's satisfaction. So, like how one disciple asked Prabhupada that, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said this Hare Krishna Mahamantra is going to spread every town and village. And He could have done it, right? I mean, He's Supreme Personality of God, He could have done it. South India, we see like how He actually made everyone Krishna conscious. Why did He not do it? He said all around the world. And what did Prabhupada say? Very humbly He said, He left that credit for me. So Lord reciprocates by giving credit to these pure devotees. And He empowers them and says, you go make non-devotees into devotees. Right? So that is the reciprocation. That is a sign that the Lord is so pleased that He's actually empowering the devotee. Did you get that point? The point that the devotees are empowered to preach is a sign that the Lord is satisfied with their seva. Okay, text 13. Let's do this last one and then we'll stop.
Om Samato Vivita Karma Bhir Advaladhair Danena Choga Tapasa Paricharya Yacha Aradhanam bhagavatastava satkriyartho dharmorpita karichid mriyate na yatra.
Hare Krishna. But the pious activities of the people, such as the performance of Vedic rituals, charity, austere penances, and transcendental service performed with a view to worship you and satisfy you by offering you the fruitive results, are also beneficial. Such acts of religion never go in vain.
So here, having made the point in the previous verse, how the Lord reciprocates with the demigods, devotees, non-devotees, right? One may say, what about those people who are engaged in, here it says, pumsam ato vividha karma bhir, right? Which actually means that people are engaged in vividha karma bhir, means various fruitive activities. Then they perform advara adyahi, different Vedic rituals. Danena, they do charity. They do tapasa, very ugra tapasa. Then, right. So what about these people? Do they get any credit or not? We talked about people who are non-devotees. We talked about demigods. We talked about pure devotees. What about those people who are engaged in these activities? They are giving charity, they are performing Vedic rituals, they are doing vividha karma, fruitive activities. What about them? Right? So Brahmaji is here making the point that the main point here is, see, absolute devotional service actually includes what? Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, right? That is our main activity of devotional service. But people in general may not be attracted directly to the activities of Shravanam Kirtanam. Right? They'll say like, just come and hear Krishna Katha. I mean, better than that, isn't it? I go to a temple, I'll do this big elaborate Vedic sacrifice. Isn't that more powerful? People don't have that just hearing Krishna Katha is a solution, right? So, for those people, they may be engaged in so many Vedic superficial rituals, right? But the main point is, if these Vedic superficial rituals are offered to Krishna, then they get a permanent value, right? So, as devotees, what is the main thing? That, we may see so many people who are pious, engaged in Vedic rituals, and we can encourage them to take up pure devotional service. But if they are just attached to all their Vedic rituals, we can tell them, okay, if you're doing that, can you do this in a proper consciousness? That means what? First, Aradhanam Bhagavataha. Do this in the mood of worship the personality of Godhead. Second, Satkriya Artha. Do it not for your pleasure. Do it for the pleasure of the Lord. Third, Dharma Arpiteha. That means offer all the results, whatever you're getting, to the Lord. Right? And if you actually change your consciousness while you're doing these Vedic rituals, then Karichit na mriyati. Then at any time, those results will not be vanquished. Right? People, particularly from India, people are attached to so many rituals, Vedic rituals, this ritual, that ritual. And even if you tell them about devotional service, they may not, they'll be like, oh, only here Krishna Katha? No, I have all these family, I'm doing this. Okay. Then you can actually say, okay, if you're doing this, can you do it in the right consciousness? Can you do this as an offering to Krishna? Can you do this as a worship to Krishna? Can you give up that me mentality in this? And by that, what are they accumulating? If they do it in the right consciousness, then they accumulate unseen piety. Right? We call that Sukriti. Right? So there is one that is Agyata Sukriti, but this is knowingly they are actually accumulating piety. Right? They are accumulating piety, and this piety will gradually promote them to pure devotional service. Right? And which will one day result in full-fledged devotion. Right? Therefore, Brahmaji is recommending all these Vedic rituals are there. Right? The Vedas are full of all these activities, but let them be done with the right attitude, with the right intention. Yat karoshi, yat ashnasi, yat juhosi, dadasi, yat tapasasi kanteya mat kuruswa. Do that as mat kuruswa, as an offering to Krishna. Then that will lead to bhakti. Right? So that's the Brahma's point. Okay. So we can think about that we are somehow come in contact with Srila Prabhupada, and maybe, maybe that we have performed so many Vedic rituals, and somehow, that rituals have accumulated, and the Sukriti has come up to the point that finally we meet a devotee, and then that Sukriti has resulted into bhakti. So maybe we have had that journey before. Who knows? Right? So it's a nice point to think about and see that, okay, others are engaged in this. So if they are not ready to take up activities of pure devotional service, can I not discourage them from their activities, but try to just encourage their mood, their right motivation behind these activities? Okay. Okay, so this is the third section where we talk about Brahma's, the Lord's reciprocation with various devotees, the demigods, the pure devotees, the non-devotees, and how those who actually offer the results of Vedic, they will eventually become pure. That is also Krishna's. As soon as you do all these, and as soon as you say, okay, Mat Krishna Arpanam, as soon as you do that, yes, Krishna actually is giving some credits to them. Okay, so we'll stop here. They will stop a little early since it's Gaur Purnima and lots of activities and big festival in temple. So any final comments, questions, realizations? Do you
Hare
understand?
Krishna.
Yeah, go ahead.
In this section, he's saying pure devotees have missionary responsibilities, and we have to go out and preach and everything. So I was just wondering, like in one of the 10 offenses, it says to instruct a faithless person about the glories of the holy names is one of the offenses. How do we reconcile?
So the main thing is like, based on where the people are, you give them knowledge to that level. Right? So if people have no faith in chanting of the holy name, they have no faith in the personal form of the Lord, then you talk to them about how we are not this body. And that everyone can relate to. That you see the body is changing, the mind is changing, but is that who you are? So the main point there is we can preach to everyone. Well, those who are, blasphemers of devotees and they are envious, those are just like, criticizing devotees. Some who are envious, we may say, okay, just maintain. There's no point. They are not going to listen. But in general, those are innocent. We go tell them to the level that they can understand. That is the main point. Like, don't talk of Radha Krishna pastimes to someone who is just learning ABC of Krishna consciousness or spiritual life. That is an offense. Right? That is an offense. So we should preach based on where the people are. And that's why it requires, like, when you connect with someone, don't just go and then like immediately start telling all about, oh, this is this and this is this and this is Radha Krishna and this. Tell them step by step. See where they are in their journey. Try to connect with them. And here, when they say, okay, I am so and so, okay, that means that is their level. Let me start off with this. Let me start off with this. Connect where people are. And then there is no question of offense. Then we are doing the missionary spirit. We are actually really taking the message to their hearts. Does that help, Mate? Vijayaradhika Mate?
Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Prabhuji, I was thinking that how Prabhupada, he always used to start with that no one can deny the 4 problems in life. Everyone can relate to that: birth, death, old age, and disease. So that could be the starting point too.
Very nice. Yeah, you could start off based on the level. Like, everyone, like what we are reading today, everyone has anxiety. And that's why when you go out, give Bhagavad Gita, what are we doing? We are connecting with the point that people can relate to. Everyone has experienced stress in this world, anxiety. They have constant anxieties. Talk about that. And here is the solution. Here is the solution. Spiritual solution to your material anxiety. And many people can relate to that. Right? So, okay. Any other points, comments, realizations?
Prabhuji, I was also thinking that when I pray to the Lord, I say that I only want your service. But as you were saying that, be honest, I do have an artha. I also want that materially everything should go on smoothly so that we can continue in our service smoothly. That anartha is there. Everyone wants material
Yeah.
happiness, right?
Like we want a material, comfortable life. You know? At least for many of us, we can relate to that, oh yeah, everything should be comfortable in my life. I'm worshiping Krishna, but I want the material, comfortable situation. Like the prayer of like, yes, Krishna, please let that not be any obstacles in my service. That prayer is actually a higher prayer. Where we are saying like, okay, Krishna, let not the situation come that I cannot offer service to you, because that is the main thing that I have, is to offer seva. So please don't create such obstacles or such problems in my life in such a way that my seva is taken away, because all I have is service to you. So that's a nice prayer, you can say. Anything else?
I like the point that devotee should always think that this is not our property, and it's just Krishna's property. We are just as an example, driver for the car.
Driver for the car. And my Guru Maharaj actually takes it to the next level and says like, we are driver for the car belongs to the owner. There's a problem in the car, the owner will take care. And he takes it to the next level and he says like, our body is the car, right? Body is the car, and the Lord is the driver of the car, right? So if the Lord wants to change the car, should the driver be actually worried about it? That means what?
Yeah, it's a death.
Death.
The Lord says, okay, your service is done here. Maybe I want to take you somewhere else to do seva. And devotee is fearless. Like, okay, wherever I can serve Krishna, that's what I do. So, okay.
Hey Krishna Prabhuji, one more thing I wanted to ask. We have verses which says that you can, through the ears, we can taste, smell, and see the Lord. I'm wondering whether there are more verses where all the five senses we can experience through our ears.
What's the question, Mataji? Are there more verses that?
Yeah. More verses where through the ears we can touch the Lord, or all five senses.
Yeah.
And also I was thinking like the Lord, even when we offer prasadam, he can eat with his eyes, right? He can actually taste with his eyes.
Yeah, there are many other verses, like even Prithu Maharaj, he actually says, right? Just when I hear Krishna Katha, I want millions of years. Why? Because when I'm hearing Krishna Katha, it has the saffron dust particles from your lotus feet. So when I'm hearing Krishna Katha, I am feeling the presence of those saffron dust particles. So that is the point of touch also is there, right? So we talked of smelling, we talked of seeing, we talked of what else? Drinking, and now even the point of touching is there, because Prithu Maharaj actually prays. He says that hearing is just like touching the saffron dust particles from your lotus feet. So even touching is there. Yeah, Mataji. So you want references for some more verses? I can give you.
Yes.
Prabhuji, there is another section in Madhurya Kadambini by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. It's other way around, that just by seeing the beauty of the eyes, that's all the senses of the devotee becomes like eyes to see the Lord. So that's Saundarya. And then he reveals his fragrance through the nostrils of the devotee. But all the devotee's senses and his mind take to the quality of the nose to smell, and so on. Then this is fragrance, and then the touch. So all just by seeing, smelling, and touching, and so on, all other senses of the devotees also get the ability to see or smell or touch. So this is page 47 of Madhurya Kadambini by Vishwanath Chakravarti.
Thank you. I mean, one of the senses are completely absorbed in Krishna, then all the senses are completely satisfied. Right? So that's a very nice one. Here, like the stress is, particularly for us as sadhakas, the importance of hearing Krishna Katha. We experience the Lord by hearing Krishna Katha. The whole Bhagavatam is bringing us to a point. We taste, we smell, we drink, and we touch the Lord by hearing Krishna Katha. It's all bringing us to a point. We just have to fill our ears with Krishna Katha. Punanti ye vidaya, punanti ye vidushitasayam. Right? We have to actually, ears which are in the form of cups, we have to fill them completely with Krishna Katha. Okay.
I was thinking how today's Gaur Purnima, and we're reading these shlokas about Brahma's mood of compassion. I was thinking how that's the mood that Lord Chaitanya had, right? That we all have that mood, and Brahma is like the head of our sampradaya, and he's showing us by example how to, even before the creation is starting, he's feeling like, oh, these people are covered over, and how can I help them? And and also the point that you said that we all have a great responsibility because we have the medicine, so we have to also help, like Lord Chaitanya said, how many fruits can I myself distribute, but you all can help, distribute. So.
Yeah. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu made the Kurma Brahman 2 instructions. Always chant the holy name, Nirantar Krishna Japa, and then second he said, Yare Deke Tare Kahe Krishna Upadesh. Always chant the holy name, second give Krishna to others. Right? That is our mood, that is Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mission. And he said, you don't have to change your position. Wherever you are, you can actually just take to chanting of Hare Krishna and giving Krishna to others. So it's so nice. The point that how Brahmaji came as Haridas Thakur, right? Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur. Brahmaji himself, who's composed these prayers, he's come as Haridas Thakur. And Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, he's Nam Acharya. Yeah, very nice. Thank you. Okay, so stop here. Thank you so much. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ki jai, Shri Gaur Purnima ki jai, Shri
Jai.
Prabhupada ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Vancha
Jai.
Kalpasya Kripa Sindhu Bheva.
Prasidhi Vachana.
Thank you so much. Hare Krishna. So we'll see those are here. See at the temple very soon. Kirtan starts at 12:30. And then from 4:30 onwards, we have class by Maharaj, Mahabhishek, and then wonderful drama performance, and then dance performance and prasada. So wonderful, like whole day we can just absorb ourselves in Gaura Lila. So it'll be a beautiful festival. So please join us soon. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji. That was Pranam.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Thank
Krishna.
you.
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Prabhuji.
Krishna.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Babaji. Hare Krishna. Happy God Purnima.